Earlier this summer, I've gotten into watching the news, and I'm really glad I did, and I'm dedicated to one channel for watching the news, and that's none other than CTV Atlantic. And my fellow Maritimers watching this video, who are also nostalgic like myself, might know it as ATV. So pretty much every day I watch the ATV News and the ATV News Live at 5. And I'm really glad I do. I learn a lot about what's happening in the community around me. So a few months ago, I uploaded a video here of a clip from the ATV News Live at 5 about the thrift store here in town that burnt down. That thrift store is set up in a new building now. And I have another clip to show you in this video. It's been hotter than hell here in the Maritimes pretty much this entire August, and that explains my shirtless attire right now. And the ATV News has been keeping up with a hurricane that's heading towards the Maritimes, known as Hurricane Earl. Hurricane Earl started in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean as a Category 4 hurricane, and it barreled through the eastern coastline of the United States, diminishing to a Category 3, 2. Now it's a Category 1, and when it hits the Maritimes, it may be a weak Category 1, if not a hurricane at all, just a tropical storm. The clip I'm going to show you in this video is from the ATV News Live at 5. It's just talking about Hurricane Earl and basically what impact it's going to have on the Maritimes. So the clip you're about to see is from September 3rd, 2010. Hurricane Earl is going to officially hit the Maritimes on the morning of September 4th, 2010. So here it is, and enjoy.
Well, it's time now to check in with our very busy meteorologist, Cindy Day. Cindy?
It has been a very busy week with the heat and the humidity and the heat wave, and now, of course, with Hurricane Earl. And as we saw a little bit earlier on, Earl has diminished in intensity, but people shouldn't just hear that information and say, oh good, it's not going to be nearly as bad as we thought. Not necessarily the case, because the storm system is so large. There are still tropical storm warnings in effect and hurricane watches all along the South Shore right into Halifax. And I'll have a breakdown of the specific timeline, when precipitation will move in, when the winds will gust in your community. Speaking of gusty winds, well, let's hope that Earl won't damage the beautiful apple orchards that we have in the valley. This is one of the many Annapolis Valley orchards. This one is just north of Kingston, Nova Scotia. Very little wind today. The leaves are just barely moving in a very slight breeze. It was a hot, sticky day. Temperatures in Nova Scotia were a little bit below where they've been at the last couple of days, but the humidity is high. The humidity is about to break. Get all those details next.
The Live at 5 UV Index is brought to you by the Canadian Cancer Society. Get sun-safe tips at cancer.ca.
I'm meteorologist Cindy Day. Well, that bottle of sunscreen has been a permanent fixture almost all summer long. You can put it away because tomorrow that UV index is going to be low. And that's because we've got a hurricane on our doorstep. By the time it moves in, it will be a tropical storm, but there'll be cloud, wind, and rain. No sun for us tomorrow. We'll get your complete forecast for tomorrow and the rest of the weekend next.
And a look through the haze on the St. John Levi toward Partridge Island, the calm before the storm in the port city.
Yes.
What do you think?
Well, you know what? When I see something like this and I feel the way the air feels outside,
Yes.
I'm reminded of the 12 and 18 hours prior to Juan.
Oh, okay.
Not that this is going to be Juan like in
Right.
any way, but that tropical feel to the air, the haze,
Yeah.
the high humidity, and just that very oppressive heat. And the stillness, too, is a little bit eerie when you think that, you know, in a few hours those winds are going to start to gust and really pick up ahead of the storm.
Especially after the stretch we've had of this weather, to think that in a few hours it's going to change quite a bit.
That's right. And then as Earl pulls away, the cold front comes in behind it. We'll be reaching for sweaters. So there's going to be quite a dramatic change in our weather in the next 48 hours. We're going to go from the sultry summer conditions to a little taste of fall with a hurricane between the two.
All right.
So let's have a look at what this sultry summer weather looks like. Live eye shot from the Dartmouth side looking over to Halifax. Doesn't it look beautiful down by the waterfront? Some pretty flowers in the foreground, and there seems to be a breeze there, Jackie. A little breeze to cool things down somewhat. The wind, though, is generally out of the south right now, so it's not a nice dry northerly circulation. We're going to have to wait a few days before that rolls around. but it is nice to have a circulation out there. And our sunrise sunset times, you'll probably notice how we're losing a lot of daylight, 2.5 minutes per day. Right to our satellite image, this one is fairly impressive. We're starting to see that the cloud on the outer edges of Hurricane Earl pushing into the Maritimes already. The outer line of cloud already through central and northern regions of New Brunswick, slightly heavier band of cloud over the western tip of Nova Scotia, and then of course the center of the storm system well south of us along the eastern seaboard. No longer can you see an eye in this satellite image. The eye has collapsed. That happened overnight last night, and that brought it down from a category 3, a week 3, down to a 1 through the day today. But what it has done, while the eye collapsed so very quickly, the storm has spread. So it's not as intense, but it is a large storm system, and it's making its way pretty much on track, and we'll see a closer timeline for your area a little later on. So we'll put the radar imagery on top of this satellite, and you can see the bands of very heavy precipitation on the western side of the eye, and that's very important to note because we have the landfall being somewhere between Yarmouth and Digby and then moving up towards Moncton. So if you're on the left-hand side of that expected eye landfall area, you're in the heavier rain zone, and you can see the rain there. There are thunderstorms as well developing in that heavier band of precipitation. So we'll start with partly cloudy skies through the evening hours, and then the cloud will thicken, the wind will pick up, and the rain will start to push in midnight or so for Grand Manan and Yarmouth, and then that rain will push gradually towards the east and northeast. Southeast winds at about 40 kilometers per hour. Tropical storm warnings are in effect. That means that winds will gust quite easily between 90 and 110 kilometers per hour. There, it's difficult to put specific rainfall and wind numbers on the entire province, but of course the heaviest rain is going to be in the southern portion of New Brunswick. As you move to Fredericton northward, there'll be some rain, but not nearly as significant. Northeasterly winds gusting to 80 kilometers per hour. Temperatures a lot cooler, but the humidity is going to be very, very high. We're not going to feel that drier air until Sunday. 22 degrees across the island, 40 millimeters. That's probably a little conservative. Southeasterly winds will gust to at least 90 kilometers per hour, perhaps even reaching 100 kilometers per hour as the post-tropical storm swings through Saturday afternoon. For Cape Breton, 30 millimeters, not an excessive amount of rain for Cape Breton. You're on the right side of the eye, but the winds will be fairly strong, 70 to maybe 80 kilometers per hour. Those are gusts, not a sustained wind speed. 23 degrees for Antigonish, New Glasgow, and Truro. Watch for some very strong winds in the Minas Basin area. Truro leading into New Glasgow. Winds will gust there to 90, even 100 kilometers per hour. We're looking at 100, maybe even 110 kilometers per hour. Yarmouth to Shelburne, in through the valley, very windy as well. Again, the windiest side of the system is to the right of the eye. Temperatures will be cooler, but the humidity is going to be high, and there's a risk of thunderstorms as well. Let's have a look at your 5-day forecast. It looks much nicer than tomorrow's weather does. Sunshine Sunday and Monday with very comfortable temperatures, back to normal at 21. Showers coming through on Tuesday with a few lingering showers on Wednesday in New Brunswick. For Nova Scotia as well, beautiful weather on Sunday, sunshine, temperatures in the low 20s. On Monday, a mix of sun and clouds, some showers Tuesday, pulling away on Wednesday. Temperatures getting down to the low 20s during the day. And for the island, a beautiful Sunday, still a little breezy, but lots of sunshine. Sunny with cloudy periods Monday, and then a few showers Tuesday and Wednesday, and only 19 degrees by Wednesday afternoon. That's a look at your weather. I'll have more for you later in the show and during the evening news, that timeline that will help you plan your day tomorrow. Now it's time to have a look at our Weather Watcher drawing, some very cheery artwork on this day before the storm. Our first Weather Watcher tonight is 12-year-old Bray Greencorn. Bray is from Canso, Nova Scotia, and here Bray and her friends are swimming in the ocean, and that looks like a great thing to do. Look at the happy sun in the top of the drawing, and a great boat. Beautiful drawing. Thank you very much, Bray. And now we've got 5-year-old Cadence Chase from Beechwood, New Brunswick. And this is a picture of she and her family at Parley Beach on vacation. You know that I've never been to Parley Beach, but I hear people say that it is a fabulous beach to go to. And I bet it was a busy one this summer with all our great weather. Hope you had a good time, Cadence. Thank you for that. Our last Weather Watcher tonight is 12-year-old Marika Marco from Pugwash, Nova Scotia. This is a picture of Marika camping with her mom and her brother. And it looks like the sand is nice and soft and everybody's having a good time. Dad is there too, and the water is nice and blue. Thank you for that beautiful drawing, Marika. If you would like to be a weather watcher here on Live at 5 and share your great drawing, please send your weather-related drawings along to CTV Weather Watchers, Post Office Box 1653, Halifax, Nova Scotia. The postal code is B3J2Z4. On the back of that drawing, please include your name, your age, your address, a telephone number, an email address. All that is best right on the back of your drawing. Thank you very much to all our weather watchers today. Over to you, Jackie and Star.
Thank you very much, Cindy. I love your blazer, by the way.
Thank you. I love yours too. Where did you shop?
I didn't get the memo.
No, you didn't. Well, you have pink blouse on,
sort
so
of, yeah.
there you go. Well, it's time for us to take another short break, but we have much more coming your way.
Including Liz Rigney with Take 5 and these stories.
I'm Ron Shaw on the wharf at Point de Chine, New Brunswick, and there's a chance that Earl could cause a great deal of trouble here tomorrow. More later on Live at 5.
Hi, I'm Sarah Plowman in Margarettsville, Nova Scotia. Coming up a little later, I'll share with you the story of a Maritimer who's built a cat refuge like you've never seen before. All those details later on Live at 5. We'll return right after this break.